So we've been talking about new ways of doing business and how other aspects of life are so important to be addressed, to live an authentic and holistic life, and to really produce results we want to produce in the world. Just want to lead on to something about innovation here, because brands and businesses are always looking for new innovations. And when we think about innovations, we often think about technology or new materials. But what makes innovation truly work is not only the new technology or the new materials, but it's also the network of conversations and relationships that make the innovation come to life over time. So there'll be a technology which gets communicated as, oh, this is the greatest thing, but already the people that are going to execute it haven't been fully enrolled in it, haven't been told why it needs to happen, and nobody's listened to all the concerns they have. So it becomes very much a push to achieve something without considering there may be something which needs to be addressed, and especially around relationships throughout execution. We always think, oh, it's just a matter of doing something, when in fact a lot of other parties are involved, and it's very easy for people to blame each other or not be fully committed and then just step back and at times let it fail. So true innovation is the collaboration across different parties, internally, externally, and to commit to that over the long term. So it's an environment of collaboration, respect and partnership that really makes innovation work. So this year, Marina and I had this idea. It came from her, actually, on how we could create a group. People have got really separate, and especially during the pandemic, everybody's just sitting behind a screen, and we all kind of got into that habit of not going out as much and meeting in person. So we wanted to create a group to bring people together. As more people are moving to Shenzhen and more people are moving to Hong Kong, there's a lot of people who are actually coming here and then working remotely, so they don't really have a work community. And it's partially based on that, connecting people across the city and across the Greater Bay Area. But another thing which is really critical is people are facing burnout, and one of the girls who will be involved in the group has recently decided to take a break from work because she just wanted to experience life differently. Maybe she's had a bit of a burnout, which we've all experienced from time to time. I think historically we've always had to be a bit of a machine, and I pride myself at times with I can treat myself like a machine and just plow through things. Yet I also faced a burnout in 2018 where I just had to get out of the corporate environment, and I spent 2 years just pursuing art, because I think I really needed a break, and I really needed to feed my soul. I just had this moment where I was like, oh my God, I cannot make any more t-shirts that are going to be in a landfill within the next 6 months, and then do it all over. I believe it's a generational shift. I think I've always been a bit ahead of my time, not being arrogant about that, but feeling things before other people are feeling them, or maybe I just feel them a bit more. So I always had to have some sense of meaning, or is it worth it, or purpose in what I was doing. That's why sustainability became so important for me in the fashion world, because it gave some sense of meaning, purpose, and contribution. I do believe that as humans, we do want to contribute, we do want to make a difference. We are actually programmed to do that. What I do see is burnout often comes from ignoring our own sets of values, what's important to us, and personal alignment. When we have to shut down parts of ourselves, which invariably, and especially in Asian cultures, when many people have been told that they must pursue, doctor, lawyer, accountant, or engineer. There's a lot of people have shut down whole parts of themselves, and then it gets to a point where they really want to extend beyond that. And we've looked at work being so important when actually other parts of life are also equally important. Where this group idea has gone to, it's gone into a space of you come into this space, into this community to rediscover who you are and get access to your own authenticity. As opposed to going into corporate or going into business and having to be some version of yourself, which you have to force yourself to be. We're creating a space where you can be yourself. It's not about competing with each other. It's not about trying to be better than others, but it's a space where it isn't competition. It's bringing in other elements that can contribute to doing business and to living life in a holistic way. So we will cover business and connection. We will also do very tactical things like how to set up a business in China, banking, all of those things. But we will also talk about creativity. So each session we will have someone to talk about their creative journey and how that has contributed to their life, to their business. And we'll do something on wellness or mental health or, holistic activities. It's to bring forward the idea that doing business can incorporate all aspects or many aspects of us. There's a lot of things which we can use in our lives and bring into our business world. So Marina, for example, previously she was trading and buying and selling meat product, and now she's moved into metal. So she was saying to me, now I have to pray to the metal gods. Now, for any of us who see what happens around Hong Kong, the other day I was outside of the Mandarin Oriental. They've just closed it down for a complete renovation. And the workmen were burning money and praying to the gods of construction. And it's so beautiful that we get to see this in this city, because people really, you might say it's superstition, but it's also a belief system that things are going to work out because there's more than this physical part of life that we're currently kind of stuck in or, working in or pushing ourselves through. There's a larger world beyond that, and there are forces which can really help us and enable us in what we're up to. So I heard this from someone who's a photographer, that everything that wasn't about photography made him a better photographer. And I see that about painting and drawing, because it's all the things that are not actually doing that make you better at it, because you have something to say. And if we pan out and look at our lives, everything that isn't about work or business makes us better at work or business. So whether that's connecting with people, learning about different things, definitely traveling, those are all the things that are going to make us better at business. And of course, mental health, alternative studies, creativity, it's all going to make us better at business. Everywhere we look now, we're seeing business being done differently. Of course, the part of the world I'm in is very fast moving. And so, of course, here we've got to forget about a lot of traditional ways of doing things. I think this is a really interesting era, because to take things that are outside what we would normally call the business we're doing and incorporate them into our lives inevitably will make us better at the business we are doing. Once we have a richer life, a richer experience of life, a richer connection with other people, with the environment, with the materials we work, it all makes for better business and definitely a better life.